I'm Tyler. Some time ago, I bought this Apple Watch Series 10, and I've worn it basically 24/7 since then. And I've got some thoughts, so let's get straight into my review. The first thing I'd like to talk about is design change. This year, they made it rounder and thinner. Is it noticeable without a side-by-side comparison? I don't really think so. I mean, it feels great on the wrist, but I don't think, unless I was told, that I would know that it was any thinner. It's also lighter, however, it's not something that you notice or feel even. It's, again, still strapped to your wrist. It's just a watch, and when I'm doing things with it, I never noticed it before, so nothing's really changed in that regard. Now, some people have mentioned that this screen isn't as edge-to-edge as it was on previous models. However, when you really look at it, the glass goes farther to the edge rather than metal. So it's still the same general screen size, just more glass as opposed to metal when you look at it straight on. Other than the minor design refinements, I think that this watch still looks great. There wasn't really an issue with the previous model, however, I think that they did improve this year. The rounder chassis and thinner watch are appreciated, and it makes it just nicer to wear. In addition, even though it's not like a physical design thing, the fact that the always-on display can show seconds is really nice. It makes it feel a lot more lively and like a real watch for once. Unfortunately though, this only works with certain watch faces, and I really like the Flux watch face, which it does support. However, majority of the watch faces don't support seconds on the always-on display, which is really disappointing. The screen is supposedly brighter than the last model at 2000 nits, and in direct sunlight it is really noticeable. It's a lot brighter and a lot more readable. And that's not to say it was bad before. It was definitely readable in the sun, but now it's just a little bit better. I would say it's about on par with my iPhone 14 Pro's screen, and since they're both rated at 2000 nits, that makes sense. But yeah, the screen is still sharp, still really bright, and overall gorgeous. It's one of the best displays on any smartwatch. It does get dimmer now as well, however, I didn't really notice that much of a difference in dark rooms. Going to sleep and looking at the little sleep screen, it was still around the same to my eye as my previous Series 7. Other than that, one of the biggest changes this year is the speaker, surprisingly. You can listen to music with it now, which in my experience works really well. It's not like a Bluetooth speaker replacement, nor is it better than a phone speaker even, but for this size, you've really got to consider this speaker is really dang good, and if you're in a pinch and just want to listen to music, it's loud enough and will get the job done, which is really cool and a huge feat in itself, in my opinion. I don't think I'm going to use that feature very frequently, however, I can see that people would, and who knows, maybe I will. The addition of the speaker makes the Apple Watch Series 10 a pretty good contender for a little pocketable music player, if I'll be honest. It's got 64 gigabytes of storage, so you could easily download your entire Apple Music library. I believe Spotify also lets you download, but I'm not fully sure. And you can use the speaker on it or connect AirPods. So if you want an option that isn't your phone to listen to music, go for an Apple Watch, honestly. It'll work really well. Another great thing about the Apple Watch Series 10 is its performance. I didn't really notice many stutters throughout using it compared to my Series 7. Going to the app switcher and scrolling through it, it looks very smooth, and I didn't notice many frame drops, if at all. And on my Series 7, they were pretty frequent. Any app is very fast and very responsive, and it just doesn't feel slow. And it shouldn't feel slow, because it is on the newest processor. However, it's just really nice how smooth it feels to use day to day. Another thing that's been pretty good about this watch, surprisingly, is the battery life. Apple Watch batteries have never been particularly great. However, I feel like this one is. It is rated about the same time as all of the other Apple Watches, but I feel like I'm just getting a lot more life out of it. Every day, I fully charge mine before I leave for school, and I take it off the charger at 6:30. So let's just say 6:30, I'm at 100% battery life. Now, I'll get through the school day, maybe run a workout on the way home because I walk home. So I'll have for about 30 minutes an outdoor workout being tracked. And I get home and have between 60 and 70% battery life left. And that's at like 2:15. So at the end of the day, I'm at about 50%, which means I don't think it could last 2 full days on one charge. But you could pretty easily, if you have like a really long shift or are doing a lot of activities in a day or just out late, you shouldn't have to worry about charging it, which is great because my Apple Watch Series 7 needed to be charged very frequently. Speaking of charging, on the Series 10, it's really fast. I've charged it through 2 different devices. My Belkin Boost Charge 3-in-1 stand, which supports Apple Watch fast charging, and the cable that came with it, as well as a, I believe, 20-watt Apple Power Brick. I would say they both took about the same time to charge, and to get from 30 to 100 took between like 20 and 30 minutes. It was really fast, and if you have like 10 minutes to top it up before you leave, you'll get at least 40% extra charge. It's really great. Now, those are all positives of the Series 10, but let's get to some things that I didn't like very much. First, double tap. Now, I hate to say it because I was really excited for double tap, but I feel like it's been so finicky in my use that I can't rely on it. It takes like 2 or 3 tries every time I try to use it for it to actually register, which just isn't that great, really. And it's just very tedious. Another thing about it is that for notifications, the behavior differs between what type of notification you have. Most notifications, you double tap it once, and then it scrolls down, and then double tap again, and it gives you a dismiss button it hits. However, some apps have different commands. One app that had a different command for me was the Ring app. So I got a notification that there was motion at my front door, so I tried to dismiss that notification. So I double tapped it, and then double tapped it again, expecting it to dismiss that notification, but instead it hit a button to snooze notifications for 30 minutes. That was not at all what I wanted, and just the inconsistency of it all is really frustrating. I wish that it was always a dismiss button or never a dismiss button, because I feel like this is going to lead to many accidental presses of things that I don't want to press. The only other negative that I've been able to think of during my time with the watch has been that some of my bands don't fit as well as they used to. So I have a braided solo loop that I bought with my Series 7 a few years ago, and it just doesn't fit me now. And that's not really the fault of the watch itself. It's just really frustrating that if you have older bands, some of them that are fitted just might not fit, which stinks. But most bands will stay the same, like this Nike Sport Loop, which still fits because it's adjustable. Overall though, I think the Apple Watch Series 10 is an amazing value. It's got all the features that you could ever want in a smartwatch, and even rivals the Ultra in some ways, having features that the Ultra doesn't even have. Now, for $400, it might be a little bit pricey, but if you have an older watch, you should be able to trade it in and get a little bit of that value back. If not, usually during Black Friday, there are sales from Amazon, Target, Best Buy, and other major retailers. If you do want to spend the full $400 though, it won't really be wasted. I think if you wear the watch every day, you'll get quite a bit of value out of the Series 10. That'll do it for this brief review. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, leave some feedback in the comments, because I still need to learn some things. And until next video, have a good day.